welcome to another video here with me, Jenny Kirk, and we're going to be getting back to one of our usual formats, which is box opening and reviews. And this is a locomotive. It's been out for a while now, and I did pick one up a few weeks ago. And in fact, if you've been watching our previous video to this, you'll have seen it running on the garden layout. The weather was so good yesterday, just couldn't really resist. But we've got it here now to unbox and review, and this is the new Dapol Class 73 diesel electric locomotive, and we can see it's in the now familiar new style Dapol packaging. And I think I said this as well for the O-gauge stuff and the Class 22, which we've done in the past, which came in a similar box to this, that the box itself is, it does feel very substantial, and certainly that really does protect things in transit. So we're going to lever that lid off. We can see on there we've got this almost like an engineer's line drawing of front and side elevation of the locomotive in question. On the end we've got the catalogue number, and this is the newer style Dapol catalogue number, which is 4D-006-002, and this is the Class 73 running number 73124, and this is in the all over BR blue with the small logos. Now we can see inside here we've got more of this this foam, which really does do a very good job of protecting things, and is actually quite easy to get stuff in and out of. So we're going to lever the plastic insert containing the logo out from its foam home there. And we've got at the bottom, we've got the receipt actually, so you can see what I paid for this. I actually bought it with something else. I bought it second hand because somebody was very kind to pay the depreciation for me by buying it and then losing interest within a week and trading it in. Who are these people? I don't know, but they make my collecting hobby ever so much cheaper. We've got quite a thick bundle of instructions in here. We've got the no quibble 24-month repair warranty, and well, there's quite a lot on there, double-sided, and then there's some information there on removing the cab, which is actually quite useful because it means you can get a crew into the cab and also change the head codes as well, should the desire arise. So we're going to put all that to one side. And we've also got an exploded diagram here with the parts list for things like motor assembly, grill assembly. So if you do need to order any replacement parts, it does give you a bit of information there. I'm going to put all that to one side, and let's get this out here. It slides out of the plastic inner, and we've got ourselves a nice little bag of additional detail here. So things like, I can see the brake pipes, couplings, and there's some plastic glazing in there as well, which I suspect may well be spares rather than anything else, which is quite nice of them. A lot of this stuff really you'd only need to put on if you were doing away with the tension lock couplers. So I'm not going to be applying any of that myself. Now there's a couple of polystyrene blocks that just stop things from moving about in transit in the end. And then let's click, flip that up. We've got this, it's actually quite a weird feeling plastic that's just protecting everything from being rubbed in transit. I'm going to lift that out. And again, put all of that to one side. There's a lot of effort and thought gone into the packaging to protect this, but now we've got it all out, we can see we've got what is actually a very, very substantial model. There's a good deal of weight to that. It does feel well built and substantial. And the prototypes of this were actually quite a boxy little locomotive. Originally, I think it's either the JA or JB electro diesel, later became Tops Class 73. It's got a 600 horsepower, I think it's a Paxman Valencia engine in there, but they were designed primarily to run off a third rail 750 volt DC electrics in the southern region. Later they strayed further afield and some were transferred to the Merseyrail electric area for use on engineers' trains. But we can see here that Dapol, in my opinion, really have captured the look very, very well. And for what is actually quite a boxy body, they've managed to get a really good representation of the detail with all these very intricate fan grills. And you can see through, these grills are actually a separate etched edition, so that you can see the insides of the locomotive through them. And that is really nicely done. We've also got really nice crisp representation of some of these louvres, side doors and panels as well. We've got a nice clear flush glazing in the cabs, and straight from the factory it does come with handrails attached and the multiple high level jumpers attached as well. And again, I did show you the little bag of separately applied detail, and they go on the buffer beams there. Sprung buffers all round. Now, one of the windscreen wipers has come off there. I haven't been able to find it in the box, but you know, I only really noticed that when I was reading online about people complaining that these things had fallen off for them. So I'm not actually all that bothered. The underframe detail is very nicely applied. We've got all of these compressors and cabinets on the underside, and there's a whole host of separately applied detail in there, and I think that is really nicely applied. The actual bogies, again, there's a lot of detail on there, and it's much, much nicer than the Lima stroke Hornby representation on their version of this model. The actual drive of it, it's all-wheel drive, all-wheel pickup, and it runs ever so smoothly, as you probably saw in the previous video that we put up. Now, the rendition of the blue, I've seen some people describe it as slightly purpley. Now, to my eyes, I can't see that, and it does seem to fit in quite nicely with all of my other rail blue liveried locomotives. So I don't have a problem with this rendition. It may be that there's perhaps slight variation between batches, but I personally don't see it. It's a nice representation, and it has to be remembered that on the real full-sized locomotives there would have been variation between different blues depending on when it was painted, where it was painted, and also how long it had spent out in the weather, how many trips it had had through a carriage washing plant. The yellow on the ends is reasonably crisply applied, so we don't have too much in the way of bleed over on the yellow warning panel, and it does come out really quite nicely there, front and back. Now, as I said to you before, one of the windscreen wipers has decided to go and disappear, but it doesn't actually detract from the appearance of this locomotive unless you really go looking closely. We've got roof-mounted horns as well for the two-tone horns. They are a separately applied moulding and really nicely done. We've got the lift-out eye holes on the roof panels. Are all crisply done. They all actually look like separately applied panels. They're not, they're all part of the moulding, but they're so well done that they look like they could be a separately applied part. And we've got, again, this really nice vent detail where you can see through the mesh to the inside and to the detailing inside the body of this. And I think that is a really lovely touch. And I haven't seen it as well done as on this locomotive, on any other locomotive. So I'd give top marks to Dapol for that. There are a few things which possibly detract on this model. The fact that the windscreen wiper's fallen off, you know, we have to subtract something for that. And also when it runs, it seems to be a little bit more finicky on bumperly laid track joints than other locomotives. So I'd certainly give this a 9 out of 10. And for a locomotive which I normally wouldn't have gone for, a Class 73 was not high on my hit list at all. I bought this because it was presented at a superb price, and really I'd have been a fool to have said no. And actually I very nearly bought a second one in Pullman livery that they had there, but I behaved myself. It's represented here in the number 73124, small British Rail logo, And we can see the data panel underneath there, and even though my eyes with their nearly flat batteries with age can't read that, I've got every faith that in the close-up that's going to be perfectly legible. Well, I hope this has been really informative to you. If you want to see this locomotive running, check out our previous video showing it going around in the garden. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and we'll be back next time with more videos here on the Jenny Emily channel. You take very good care of yourself, and until next time, bye for now.